Hi there, this is Dimitris Harlambidis, and in this video we will work together some exercises that involve parallel lines which are cut by a third transversal line and the angles formed under this whole formation. To begin with, let me remind you quickly the theory involved. We have seen in previous videos that when we have two lines L1 and L2 which are parallel, and how exactly can I denote that these lines are parallel to each other? Through arrows. So when we have two such lines and the third line which is cut by them, certain pairs of angles formed are congruent to each other, which means they have equal size. In more simple words, they are equal. These are, first of all, alternate interior non-adjacent angles. Let me write that. Alternate interior non-adjacent angles. We're talking about these red ones, but not just these two. We're talking about these yellow ones as well. Second case, when, again, we have two lines L1 and L2, which are parallel. So let me denote this with arrows. And are once again cut by a third line, then the alternate exterior non-adjacent angles, alternate exterior non-adjacent angles are also congruent. In this case, we mean this alternate exterior non-adjacent, but not just this pair of red angles, this pair as well. These are alternate exterior non-adjacent. And thirdly, when once again we have two lines, L1 and L2, which are parallel to each other and are cut by a third transversal, the corresponding angles are, let me write that here as corresponding. These corresponding are congruent to each other. And by corresponding, another word, a bigger, however, more descriptive, is same side, interior, exterior, non-adjacent angles. So it should be this and that, but not just this, these two as well, the yellow ones, but we're not done yet, the orange ones, and finally the green ones. These pairs per color would be equal to each other. Now, let's see how we can use all this theory in order to solve some key exercises. Find the value of each indicated angle. We'll be doing together the odd ones. On the first one, can we spot the parallel lines? Yes, although we might not see it directly and we might need to stretch our head on the left side. We can clearly see that this is L1, this is L2, this is the transversal cutting them, and we are talking about the angles. This one, which measures 136, and this one, which measures X. If we carefully see these two angles, we will see that we basically have a alternate interior non-adjacent. So they should be equal to each other, which means that since one of them measures 136 degrees, the other one should be the same as well. Next, on the third one. Now, let's see that the lines are these, L1 and L2. And this line is the line that cuts them. Once again, we would have to rotate our head on the left, and then we would see that we would be talking about this angle here and this angle there. According to what we just said, these two are corresponding. And corresponding means that they should be congruent. So if one of them measures 53 degrees, the other one should be also equal to 53 degrees. Next one, we have these two, although we assume that these two are the parallel and this is the transversal one, here we don't have any of these special pairs of angles. However, we have a more, let's call it typical pair of angles, which is the one of vertical angles. We know, or at least we should know, that whenever two angles cross, they form two pairs of vertical angles. So let me do two crossing lines, this and that, and this formation creates two opposite congruent angles. These two are congruent to each other, but not just these two. These two as well would also be congruent. And these are called vertical. And we should keep in mind that vertical are always congruent to each other. Vertical angles, so x should be equal to 61. Let's move on kind of more complicated ones. Oh, I did it with, give me 1 second. Just writing it on top of the screen by mistake, but we all get that. Let's move to exercise 7. On exercise 7, we can see that we are talking about these two, this and that. They are same side interior angles. They don't form a special pair of angles, but we could see that x, let this be the x, and this angle over here, these are corresponding. So this as corresponding should also be equal to x, because we know that two corresponding angles are always congruent to each other. Then this gives me another approach to say that these two, the green one and the one that has a size of 118 degrees, form a line. This is what we call a linear pair. A line can be seen as an angle of size equal to 180 degrees. So we can easily say that 118 plus x should be 180, from where we can get that x is 180 minus 118, so x should be 62. And that's all. Remember, once again, that every time two parallel lines are cut by a third transversal, three special pairs of congruent angles are created. Alternate interior, non-adjacent angles. Alternate exterior, non-adjacent angles. And corresponding angles, which are also referred to as same side interior, exterior, non-adjacent angles. That's all. I hope I made things a little more clear. However, if you still have concerns, if you still have questions, please don't be shy. Leave your questions below the video as a comment, and I'll make sure to respond back as soon as possible. As always, thank you for your time.